What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. Going to be playing a tournament today on PTCGO, and I am rocking Bali's 9th place White Kyurem deck from the Harrogate Regional Championships. This is a deck that is generating a lot of hype right now. Definitely a rogue deck. This thing is wild. Plays Arceus Prism Star as well as White Kyurem. Use Arceus Prism Star's Trinity Star in order to accelerate energy onto your White Kyurem, and then you use Wishful Baton to pass energy from Pokemon to Pokemon throughout the course of the game, as well as Aqua Patch. You got Shrine of Punishment here as well. I guess the idea of the deck is that you should have a pretty fantastic Blacephalon matchup, I think. And then I guess you also just are a hard-hitting non-GX deck, right? We play Pheromosa here just to give ourselves a grass Pokemon to fulfill the requirement for Trinity Star. So unfortunately, a little bit of a dud start here for this tournament. I will put my Shrine into play, however, though, and just attach a water energy to my White Kyurem. And that's it. Gonna pass it to my opponent. 10 damage with the Shrine. Let's see what they are playing. Hoping to at least get past the first round here. That would be good, or at least draw some cards. We do have Blitzle in play, so an opportunity to get a Zebstrika potentially if we draw into an Ultra Ball, or maybe a Zebstrika itself, but we only play one Zebstrika in here. It seems like the Blitzle and the Zebstrika and the Pheromosa are all really just kind of here to fulfill Arceus's Trinity Star requirement, which is super funny. I mean, a super gimmicky idea, the fact that you would kind of rely on an Arceus Prism Star to power up your deck, but when it works, it works. The Harrogate Regional Championship was like 500 players, so quite a few players there at that regional, and you really can't scoff at it, right? You gotta give credit where credit is due. Unfortunately, we will not be able to Trinity Star. We can't. We actually cannot do anything. My opponent doesn't have too much going on either, but I'm pretty content just attaching here to my White Kyurem. We could maybe Field Crush, eventually if my opponent were to bench anything, but as it is right now, I think we just got to let Arceus take another hit, but that's okay because Shrine is doing its deal up here and weakening up this Tapu Lele. Still have no idea what my opponent is playing. All I have seen is Tapu Leles, which is super funny because you can attack with Tapu Lele. It's funny that Tapu Lele is like such a valid attacker with Energy Drive, such an amazing attack on a useful Pokemon. But Tapu Lele in today's day and age has never been a main attacker in a deck. Unlike Mewtwo, back when Mewtwo EX had Energy Drive, very similar attack, right, to Energy Drive, except Mewtwo's X-Ball did hit for weakness, right? So Mewtwo's attack hit for weakness and was the main attacker in a whole lot of decks. But we don't really see that with Tapu Lele. But Tapu Lele definitely gets in there, definitely wins games sometimes with Energy Drive. Just kind of funny, that it's definitely outclassed as an attack in today's day and age. So it looks like we are playing against Zoroark Lycanroc, which is a matchup I don't mind if I can actually just do something. If I could just do something, that would be great. So I think I'm going to bring up this other Tapu Lele. Yeah, and let's just start kind of chewing away at this thing with this White Kyurem. I'm not going to bench my other one because I want to limit my field as much as I can, just in case we do have an opposing Lycanroc here eventually. I also don't want to bench... I don't want to bring up a Zorua here, so I wasn't going to hit into the Zorua because my opponent could evolve that into Zoroark and one-hit KO my White Kyurem potentially. We need to protect this thing and just give ourselves the most amount of outs to draw out of this dead draw situation. At this point, I think I've had like 3 or 4 turns, maybe 3 turns. So we've gotten our beginning 7 cards and 8, 9, and 10. We've seen like 10 cards maybe and still have not seen a draw supporter yet. So it's got to be happening sometime soon. you would imagine. Just an Ultra Ball even would allow me to let loose, which I would be more than content with, or an Ultra Ball would allow me to go with Zebstrika as well. A bunch of options that I have. They do have the Devoured Field, so very thankful that they don't have a Zoroark in the active, or else this White Kyurem could bite the dust here, which is not what I want at all. They are up and training and doing their things. I think I'm kind of on the clock at this point. This is probably going to be, I'd say, the last turn where I don't get dealt an immense amount of pressure from my opponent. I think I have to do something right now. And sure enough, it's a Shrine. We got a Shrine. All right, so well, that's fine. Okay, so we'll just do this, and I think I kind of have to bench my other White Kyurem. I don't actually have to. It makes no sense to, because I'm not going to promote it. So I think we just have to Field Crush. Continue on with this old deal, and everybody will take 10 damage from Shrine. We've just seen all of our Shrines so far. 3 Shrine of Punishments, no Cynthias, no Lilies, none of that. Just none of that at all. They've got another stadium coming up, so I guess I don't actually have to place my Shrine, because I could just use Field Crush to discard their stadium. But I think I want the extra damage from Shrine of Punishment, so I'm trying to get every little bit that I can out of these things. And just kind of hoping that my opponent doesn't play too many Devoured Fields. Usually the Zoroark list play about 2. Oh, this is trouble. Okay, so they're going to Acerola into their Zoroark, I was going to say into their Zoroark, presumably, but I guess they don't have a double colorless energy. So, they went ahead with their Tapu Lele, maybe not trusting that they were going to find a double colorless. I think potentially they should have traded before they Acerola'd so that they kind of got to see all of their options, because if they trade into a double colorless now, you would kind of hate to retreat a DCE off of that Tapu Lele if you didn't need to. So I think they should have probably traded first, then Acerola'd, then gone from there. Looks like they are going to place that second fighting on the Rockruff, though, and just go in with an energy drive. So I guess I'm not out of this game yet. Oh my gosh, come on. All right, so we are not out of this game yet, but basically out of this game at this point. I don't think that there's going to be too much that I can do here. Even Guzma doesn't do anything because none of these guys got free retreat. So it's just a tough spot here. How do you keep drawing so many cards that are just not useful? We'll just Field Crush again, I guess. Poke it again, do my 30 damage. This White Kyurem is going down. I don't get to save those water energies. This is not good. I just need to draw. I guess if I draw into something this next turn, it could potentially buff out if I'm able to Trinity Star the following turn. But even if I do Trinity Star, my opponent is going to be able to target down whatever White Kyurem I send my energy to with their Lycanroc. So not feeling super great about that. And now that they've got the whole Magcargo engine up and they're going to be able to smooth over and trade into whatever they want, I think this game's pretty much a wash. So we went like how many turns without seeing a draw card? I think it's just bum luck. I'm taking a look at the list now. It's got 4 Lillie, 4 Cynthia, and 4 Ultra Ball in it, so it could be more consistent. I mean, obviously, we're not playing a Tapu Lele or anything, and with only 8 real draw supporters, you're not giving yourself a lot of outs to find them. With the 4 Ultra Ball, you're giving yourself 12 outs to a draw card, and I typically like to be more in the range of 14 outs to a draw card. I guess the Marshadow also counts, so you kind of have 13 outs to a draw card, but even so, Marshadow is not like a real draw card per se. It only gives you 4 cards, so not the best draw option anyways. Let's see if we can come back from this. My opponent has been able to Acerola all of my damage that I've done to the Lele so far. Got a Zoroark in the active position now. I think if we don't have it here, you know, it's just no bueno. We're just out of this one. And I don't know, we could try rolling another one, but it's just yeah, this is looking like it. No energies, no nothing. My opponent is just going to have a field day, kind of just chewing through my deck for the rest of this round. So we'll just concede. You got it, my guy. Nothing going on in this hand. That was absolutely horrendous. So quite a poor tournament performance there from the from the deck. Let's see. We could roll another tournament potentially with the White Kyurem deck. I think I kind of have to just we'll just play some games on PTCGO. Let's just hop on to PTCGO, and I'll try to redeem myself with the White Kyurem deck and see if we can do anything better. That was just absolutely abysmal. I don't know. I don't think this deck is like super real. It doesn't feel like a very real meta deck. It's certainly fun. It's certainly creative, and it's certainly amazing that Bali was able to get 9th place at a 500-person tournament with this deck, for sure. Like, lots of credit where credit is due. However, I just will not ever sleeve this up for a tournament myself. Just going to tell you that straight up. That is for sure. I think relying on the fact that you just have to get your one Arceus Prism Star is kind of not something that I love to do. That's just a little bit sketchy if you ask me. Let's see here. All right, we'll start off with Nest Ball. We'll grab ourselves a Blitzle. We got the Zebstrika in deck. That's fine. And then I can Ultra Ball away the water and the Lillie to go grab myself a Kyurem. So we're going to do that. Slap the Choice Band on the Kyurem, Lillie for 7 cards. Great start here, much better than that last game. I'll take it. We leave the Cynthia in our hand just so that we have an option to pivot to next turn. And sure enough, this is the kind of start that we are looking for. So we'll be able to Trinity Star next turn, but I guess, we could attach the water energy to the White Kyurem as well. Guaranteeing a Trinity Star is pretty good, so I think we just slap that energy on there and then just pass to my opponent, wait and see what they have in store for us on their side of the field. Digging your mustache there, Mr. Yutori Supakuro. That is awesome. Very nice mustache you got there. If you guys haven't checked me out on Twitch yet, make sure you do that. Twitch.tv/TrickyJim. Been streaming on Twitch a whole lot. I'm almost at partner status. Going to be streaming tonight as well. So make sure to check me out on Twitch.tv live tonight. Twitch.tv/TrickyJim. Super, super stoked about how things have been going over there on Twitch. It's been a whole lot of fun. So thank you to everybody who showed up so far. I've got just over 1,000 followers, so excited about that. And also, there is a Discord server I have set up for my Patreon subs and my Twitch subs as well. So if you are a sub to me on either of those platforms, you get to join the exclusive Discord channel, which has been a whole lot of fun as well. Really excited about the progress of all of that. So it looks like my opponent is playing one of those maybe spread Malamar decks. So I have to be a little bit careful to make sure that I don't allow my opponent to spread all over my board. But I do want to get another White Kyurem down as well. So let's get rid of the Lillie and that. I'm going to get myself a second White Kyurem here. And then, we want to be able to Trinity Star to multiple targets. So we'll just do this. We'll just do that. And then let's just Cynthia for 6 new cards. I'm not super worried about getting rid of supporters at this point, since we do have the Zebstrika up and ready to roll. That's like kind of fine. And then we will just Trinity Star here, accelerate to our fellas, and then be ready to go next turn. So let's grab ourselves a fire, a water, and a water. We're going to slap the fire energy here and 2 waters onto this guy. So that is super dope. Got the Wishful Baton in my hand as well, but I don't super need it yet. I guess it might have been better to put a Wishful Baton on one of these White Kyurems. You kind of have to choose which you want to do. We got 4 Wishful Baton in the deck and 2 Choice Bands. So definitely a Wishful Baton favored list, but sometimes you got to get in there with Choice Band in order to pull off Freezing Flames for 190 damage, take a big 1-hit KO. Looks like we're getting let loose this turn. I am excited about this Arceus Prism Star. If we can actually find the Arceus Prism Star and use it effectively, we could, not Arceus, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Cyrus. Oh, they kind of rhyme, Cyrus and Arceus. I'm excited about the Cyrus Prism Star, and I'm thinking if I can use that effectively against this deck, it could be very powerful. We do have Guzma at our disposal, so we will just gladly go and take out that Malamar over there. So we're gonna Guzma up that thing. Bring him out, fella. Come on. And then we will put this. Oh, is Sprint fixed yet? You guys know Sprint fixed yet? I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that Sprint is fixed because I want this Wishful Baton to be here. But oh, they fixed Sprint. Thank you, PTCGO. Beautiful. You fixed him. I can't believe it. All right, so we'll just Freezing Flames here, take this knockout. And what's crazy about the White Kyurem is that once it's set up, it is just a house, just swinging for 160 turn after turn after turn. Absolutely incredible attack power there from this monster of a non-GX Pokemon. 160 is just a whole lot of pressure. We know that from the Grand Bull deck, which also attacks for 160, but that feels like it's more complicated to pull off. You know, you have to play your hand down to 0 in order to deal 160 with that dude. Here, you just need a Fire Energy and 2 Waters, and the 2 Waters aren't that hard to get onto it because of Aqua Patch, because of we got Arceus Prism Star here. I've also seen this thing comboed with like Quagsire. You can play it with Naganadel. There's a bunch of ways to get water energy into play if you wanted to. My opponent's got an Altar of the Moon, and they are starting to power up a Giratina here, but I think it might just be kind of too little too late for them. Let's take a look here. I don't actually want to put any of that into play here. We will just gladly attach the Fire Energy. And you know what? That Wishful Baton can go on the Pheromosa, I suppose. Sure. And we're just going to end up sprinting this hand away. Don't want it. I'd rather see some new cards here. Hopefully get an Aqua Patch, something like that. Aqua Patch, brilliant. That's great. We could throw the water energy onto our other White Kyurem, and we could see how easy it's going to be to just churn through this deck at this point. We're just dealing 160 damage every turn, applying a ton of pressure, and with Shrine in the mix, no GX Pokemon is safe. We've got 3 built-up attackers ready to go on a moment's notice. One of them's got a Wishful Baton on it, so we could pass to another White Kyurem if we want to. Looks like my opponent is finally going to be ready to Shadow Impact this turn, though, so we do have to prepare for that. This White Kyurem is going to bite the dust a little bit, but we've got the Rescue Stretcher in our hand, and I think we go forward with the Wishful Baton White Kyurem so that we can pass that energy, hopefully, off to a second White Kyurem once we eventually get that all situated. So we're going to Rescue Stretcher this guy back. We're going to slap a Wishful Baton on it and then sprint, and we just need to find an energy is all we got to do. So I could let loose here, which allows me to actually see more cards. I don't mind that so much, but I still have 4 prizes left to take. So I do want to kind of be proactive, I guess, and set up my board position to take enough prizes here to finish off the game. So let's just Rescue Stretcher. I'm gonna need more Pokemon, so put a Pokemon from my discard pile in my hand. Sure, I could just grab that Kyurem back. I think I'm going this route instead of the Let Loose. I don't really like Let Loose right here because I actually don't super want these cards around. So I'm just going to Ultra Ball these away, grab something else I don't want out of my deck like that, and then we can slap the Wishful Baton down. And we just need to sprint into a supporter or an energy card in order to take this fella out next turn. Well, we got the Lillie and we got a Cyrus, so we gotta have to just go for the Lillie here. Hope we get an energy. We did get an energy, all right, and an Aqua Patch, so we actually are ready to go on both fronts here. That was an incredible draw off that Lillie. And now we could safely go in with our White Kyurem here with the Wishful Baton, pass that energy back to the benched White Kyurem, and you can see how if you're not playing Field Blower, this chain just keeps on going, and the energy just stays in play, and it's just very, very troubling for your opponent to deal with. We've got this Cyrus, which could put more pressure on my opponent next turn and force them to kind of get rid of cards on their bench that they might not want to get rid of. We also have Guzma and Pheromosa as the kind of the everlasting free retreater is really amazing as well. Makes Guzma a very powerful card in this list, and we can see we do play 4 Guzma in this deck to help us take advantage of that. My opponent's going to pop that Giratina back out, use Distortion Door, and apply some more damage to my board, but I don't really mind. That's fine. At this point, I think they're probably too far behind and will not be able to come back from this White Kyurem storm that I am kind of dealing them over here. So this is pretty rad. Definitely fun deck once you get it set up, once it gets up and rolling. We saw that first game that I played had a little bit of temperamental issues there with the whole draw situation, and I think the deck could be playing more draw cards, you know, just my personal opinion, but it is what it is. When it sets up, when you get Zebstrika up and rolling, it runs really, really hot, runs really well. We are just playing the one Zebstrika. We are just playing the one Arceus Prism Star. You can't play more than one Arceus Prism Star, so not a ton of options there. I wanted to not bench that. I wanted to nest ball first, but that's fine. That's fine, PTCGO. All right, you make me do things that I don't want to do. That's all good. We'll just Aqua Patch, and we'll throw the energy back there, and then we'll Wishful Baton. Sure, we could just, I guess we'll save the Wishful Baton. No real reason to play that. I think I'm going to knock out the active again. I mean, I could Guzma and knock out a Malamar or something, but then I'm just leaving, you know, this thing in play. I could Cyrus, I guess. There's no real reason to Cyrus, though. They would just have to, you know, chuck back their Tapu Koko, which is not a big deal at all. So let's just retreat here. And we're just going to, I don't think that snipe damage actually matters. So we'll just save everything here, be totally fine with it. Freezing Flames. Knock that fella out. And I'll save the Wishful Baton just in case my opponent does hit a Field Blower and is able to get rid of my Wishful Baton and my Choice Band. And then I'll put the Wishful Baton on this guy. If my opponent Field Blowers and gets that thing going, that would be good for me. I only got 8 cards left in deck, so I do need to be a little bit careful. We have churned through most of our deck at this point and are working with a minimal amount of cards, but we really don't need all that much. These non-GX versus non-GX matchups can be quite a grinder. Just take in one prize at a time. They're very slow. They're usually very methodical as well. It's like, you know, I take a knockout, you take a knockout, I take a knockout, you take a knockout. And mostly the decks are able to just kind of churn those knockouts back to back to back. So it's kind of a race, you know, whoever gets ahead usually stays ahead in these kinds of matchups. We see that I was kind of able to hop out the gates and get out there quick against my opponent, and they were just not able to, you know, respond as quickly as they needed to keep that pace up. So I'll throw those 3 energy onto the White Kyurem without the, let's see, I'll promote this guy. Without the Choice Band, that's fine. We could put the Wishful Baton onto this dude. We also have Cynthia. This time I'm going to nest ball and just search my deck and see what we got left. Yeah, nothing. That's cool. Not even a Rescue Stretcher. This is it. I'm at the end of the line. These are my final 2 attackers, but that's fine because I only need to take 2 more prizes. So we should be good to go here. I can, I guess, like Cyrus my opponent this turn and then save Guzma for the final turn is probably fine. I don't actually want a Guzma this turn because my opponent could Dawn Wings me. I am aware of that potential play, so not trying to have that happen here. Let's just retreat into this fella, and sure, we'll Cyrus my opponent. I mean, I guess, just to kind of weaken their board position a little bit. They could chuck the Inkay back into their deck. I'm fine with that. That way they can't Psychic Recharge 3 times next turn. They'll have to have the Psychic Energy left in their, you know, in their hand in order to Dawn Wings, but then I'm saving myself the Guzma just in case they do Dawn Wings. So that's fine. We save that for the game-winning play. Freezing Flames the active Giratina, and my opponent is kind of stuck. I think I've just got game on board here. There's not much more that they can do to try and wrangle this one back. They've only sniped 20 damage to 2 of my bench Pokemon. That's going to not be enough to take a bonus prize either. they're just stuck. So we got there with the White Kyurem. Check them out. Looking pretty dope, honestly. Super cool card here. Super cool deck. Shout out to Bali. I would say your last name, Bali, but honestly, I'm just like not super confident that I would do it. I think Alufun, Bali Alufun. Shout out to Bali for an incredible run with this super creative deck. Not saying that I would ever play it myself, but definitely fun and happy to be able to show it off here on the channel. Shout out to Limitless TCG as well for just providing some awesome event coverage on their website. They do an amazing job with all of that. If you guys haven't checked out Limitless TCG, it is an incredible place to get deck lists, relevant meta deck lists from tournaments and so on and so forth. So they are going to KO my Zebstrika here, and I don't mind that play at all, because if they KO the Zebstrika, they're saying, all right, maybe you don't have, oh, yes, they're going to KO the Zebstrika and let loose me. Maybe they anticipated that I'd been sitting on that Guzma, but we got the Guzma back, so that's pretty sweet. Got there. I think I had 2 Guzma left in deck. So, yeah, I had a bunch of Guzmas left in deck, so my odds of hitting that were pretty high. Let's just go ahead and promote the Pheromosa, and we get to Guzma a Malamar for a good game. All right, well played, sir. All righty then, we got it. Freezing Flames for game. So awesome stuff. I am going to try to start being better about putting the deck lists in my descriptions of the videos as well, so you could check out that. I am going to drop the deck list in the description below, so you could just export it to PTCGO. I didn't know that that was even a thing. Literally just learned that you could copy and paste and import list into PTCGO. Literally learned that like this week, so that's a big deal. Gonna start doing that. Bottom of the thing here. Also, I do like to show off the deck list at the end of the video as well, so we'll show off the deck list here. Just so that you guys could get a visual of it. Come on, where is that White Kyurem deck? There it is. Where is it? There it is. So, I'm going to show off the list here. Got the list in the description below. Twitch.tv/TrickyJim. Make sure to check me out live tonight. Usually, I think tonight probably going to be going live later. Maybe closer to 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern time. Don't know exactly when, since I'm going to be getting back from a League Cup in the middle of the day. But make sure to check that out on Twitch. Give me a follow so you can check out whenever I am going live. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Check out the Etsy store and Patreon stuff in the description below, as well as fullgripgames.com. Peace.